Rwandan president is in Paris, where he has met the French president. They've agreed to essentially cooperate on a more pragmatic level. But these two countries still have plenty of issues still unresolved. So let's get the latest details on what happened in the meeting earlier on. Elena Casas joins us now live from Paris. So, Elena, these countries have a massive, long-running row. It goes way back to the 1994 genocide. Walk us through the main highlights of this dispute.
Well, the main sticking points between them now have to do with a legal case, or rather two legal cases. The Rwandan government is seeking the extradition of French troops who were present in Rwanda at the time of the 1994 genocide because it accuses them of being complicit in that genocide. Now, the French government says that it admits that its troops made mistakes at the time, but absolutely denies any accusation that they were complicit. And it says that the Rwandan court case is a tit for tat, if you like, that it's a response to a French court case a few years ago into who ordered the shooting down of the plane of Rwandan President Juvenal Habyarimana, which is generally considered to have triggered that genocide. Now, the French court was seeking the extradition of a number of people close to the Rwandan President Paul Kagame, including one current minister. Rwanda refused to extradite them and instead launched this other court case. So the two countries have been at loggerheads over who exactly bears responsibility for the genocide for quite some time.
Indeed. So at this specific meeting, both sides agreed to work pragmatically. That was a word that kept on coming up here. Pragmatically on matters of mutual concern, particularly security issues. But in real tangible terms, what does that mean?
Well, it means they've had to admit the relationship between the two countries is complicated and they're not about to become best friends anytime soon. But they have found some common ground on which they can agree. And that includes issues like security in the African Union. Macron confirmed he's going to be going to the next African Union summit in Mauritania at the beginning of July. And Paul Kagame, of course, has the presidency of the African Union at the moment. They also talked about climate change. Paris, of course, is very keen to get more African countries on board with cutting their emissions to meet the demands of the Paris Climate Agreement. And they talked about innovation and tech. Paul Kagame earlier today was at a technology startup fair here in Paris, which has welcomed African startups this year. And Emmanuel Macron announced that France is going to put 65 million euros of funding into those African tech startups from across the continent.
Indeed. So one final question for you, Elena. The French president also saying that resolving these long-running problems, in his words, and I'm quoting him here, will probably take time. End of quote. Now, one outstanding issue is declassifying a lot of the French official documentation around the 1994 genocide. What's the latest on that?
Well, the French government says it has declassified the vast bulk of documents which relate to the Rwandan genocide. So that's things like memos that were sent between the then President François Mitterrand and his advisors who were on the ground in Rwanda, that kind of thing. That was declassified in bulk back in 2015, and then it's been down to individual journalists and historians to search through them and see if there is a smoking gun, which so far there doesn't appear to be. Now, the Rwandan government believes that there are more documents sitting in an archive somewhere which France has not declassified, and the French government essentially says that there aren't, they don't exist, that they have put everything that there is in the public domain. So they do very much disagree on this issue.
Indeed, so the differences still persist. We'll leave it there for the time being. Elena Casas there live in Paris.